There are compulsions. When you talk about public finance, there are compulsions because, the government and no other country, frankly, apart from India, actually faces the twin challenges that we face, because one is the scale at which everything has to be dealt with, and then there are competing concerns.
This is a very interesting statement of yours that, and I'd first written about this in 1984. India is unique. At that time, the discussion was on exports. And the article in Economic Times, I think you worked for them, in the Economic Times was 84, that you look out from the highest building in Hong Kong, and what you look at exports more to the world than all of India. 1984. Okay? We are unique. We face challenges. You think other countries don't face challenges? They face the same challenges that we do. So the whole point, and we face the same challenges from 1950 to 1991. And then in 1991, we decided to do something different. And that unleashed the growth process in India. After that, we haven't done anything different. And I'm hoping that on February 1st, we will begin to do something different. So we are not unique. Basically, my simple answer, everybody facing the same challenges: fiscal deficit challenge, inflation challenge, infrastructure challenge, growth challenge. Everybody. This is a globalized world. Where's that instrument? And this instrument makes sure that everybody knows at the same time. We can't be operating like we are in 1950.
No, that's a fair point, that we are not unique, some of the challenges the world is facing. But let me then draw your attention to the fact that when we are talking about infrastructure spending, when we are talking about creating those large hubs to really drive our manufacturing aspirations. We want to be a beneficiary of a China +1 global tailwind, hopefully. Is big ticket infrastructure the way to go about it? And what would be your top 2 or 3, policy guidance for us to really get there faster, to really make the best use of the trend?
Continue doing what you're doing in infrastructure, expanding. All these goals are laudatory, very positive. But as I said, I believe that precisely because this government, and actually it's very interesting, historically, the 2 governments in India that have stressed infrastructure the most have been BJP governments. Bajpayee was the one who started the whole
quadrilateral and others, yes.
And Modi. Yeah. So this has been a huge success story. But we can't keep resting on our laurels. Humne infrastructure kar diya, growth aa gayi hai. The point is, there are, one of the most famous laws in economics is diminishing returns. So we have to look at where. And the other point, I want to get back to what I'd said earlier. Think of FDI as infrastructure, technology. Technology is infrastructure, and today, in today's global competitive world, it's the most important infrastructure. And why are we not having it? Or not having it to the same degree that we did for the last 20, 30 years. And suddenly the belief is, I don't know what the belief is actually. It's something that I've thought about, I've bothered about, I've written about. What leads the government to ignore FDI? And I'll give you an explanation. And the only explanation I've been able to come up with is that industrialists in India are in control of our policy. And everywhere in the world, industrialists are in control. Okay, so that's not you've heard of the military-industrial complex. So we have the Babu industrial complex. So I'm not saying that we are unique, but how much importance we give to industrialists in guiding our policy is where we are different. So you wanted to know where we are different? That's where we're different. And we've gone through phases as I said, these issues were much discussed between 1950 and 1990. Then we had a breakthrough in 91. And then after that, we had somewhat of a breakthrough in Bajpayee's term. And then we had somewhat of a breakthrough to 2014 to 2019 in the Modi's first term. We had COVID, and I think the government was brilliant. Policies on infrastructure. This was COVID, how to handle it. Suddenly there's this big shock in the world. Absolutely brilliant. And the world has acknowledged that we did a superb job in handling the COVID fiasco, or whatever you want to call it. But after that, what? So let's go back to 22. After 22, what's the story? And I'm afraid I can't find, we are going in the negative direction after being in a positive direction. And again, this is, you will ask me, we have political compulsions, and I will say even dictatorships have political compulsions. So everybody's got the same thing. So now the question.